There we are. I did it. I did it. I did the opener.
This is the first time that we have handled this all by ourselves. So Jamie is very proud of himself. Well, welcome to Check-In. We are off to a great start because hopefully you can hear us. You'll let us know in the comments if you can't. Thanks so much for joining us as we get you ready for tonight's game between the Winnipeg Jets and the New York Rangers. As the Jets head out on this 3-game road trip over the next 30 or so minutes, we will have Mike Kelly, who's a man that wears many hats, whether it be for NHL Network, Amazon Prime and company, join us, as well as Kevin Sawyer to get us set for the game.
You know, I like the question already. Reed wants to know why you don't go on the road with the team.
It's because I have to keep Jamie in line.
Best answer of the day. Best question, best answer. There we go.
All right. Hello to everyone. Let us know where you're watching and joining us from today in the comments. Winnipeg Jets, easily. Let's get right into it. Best start in NHL history through the first 15 games, a 14-1 record, a very decisive win against the Dallas Stars. We wondered how they would come out after the win against Colorado, which they got the win. Wasn't the type of game that they were looking for, though, but they certainly came out and asserted dominance.
I remember Mason Appleton was kind of asked, because remember when the Jets lost to Toronto, their response in Detroit was quite spectacular. So the question was, do you expect that type of response that you had following the Toronto loss with the win over top of Colorado? And Mason Appleton pretty much said yes. Yeah, and they were great right from the start. The first period, power play goal from Alex Iafallo. Rasmus Kapar gets his first goal since opening night. Yeah. And then they follow up with 2 more goals in the second period. The only kind of low light, and when I'm picking at something here, is that Connor Hellebuyck so
you're
close.
A coach.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So close to a third consecutive shutout, but it was a great streak, set a franchise record. Over 191 minutes of shutout time from Connor Hellebuyck, who has been simply spectacular again. And, of course, we'll be starting against the Rangers here this evening.
Yeah, a tremendous weekend if you're a Winnipeg sportsman. Huge. Because it started here at Canada Life Center with the big win to be able to set the NHL record. And then you headed on south or you turned it on TV. I mean, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers punching their ticket into the Grey Cup. They're in Vancouver right now. So it's been a heck of a week if you are a Winnipeg sportsman and look to continue it on here tonight. So here is our question of the day for you.
Simple one, too.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Which players impressed you the most through 15 games on the entire Jets roster? And there's many to choose from.
There are many to choose
That's
from.
A tough one if you think about it, because you think about the Four Nations face-off, which we'll have a conversation about that a little bit later.
Yeah.
There's a lot of extra emphasis, or I guess something to build off of or look forward to for a lot of the players in the Jets roster to play in that tournament and represent their respective countries. So you could see why Mark Scheifele's off to a great start. I'm not just saying that the Four Nations face-off is a reason for that, but that's just that caveat is sitting right there. You could play for Canada. Josh Morrissey's in that conversation, and the 2 Connors, Connor Hellebuyck and Kyle Connor, for the United States.
Yeah, when I think about who's impressed me, it's difficult because they've had such consistent play, I think, from all of the lines that have gone in there. I like some of the bounce backs, seasons or early starts that we've seen from some players. And when you've won 2 Vezinas and you're the reigning Vezina, I feel as if in some ways it's cheating a little bit and taking the easy way out to say Connor Hellebuyck. But you look, I mean, what is it? 3 shutouts in 12 starts. Yeah. I want to say so far this season. And you just look at the numbers that he's had so far. He's just been so impressive. And what I've loved, though, overall, is that they haven't had to rely on Hellebuyck to win them a lot of those games. Yes, they have.
One game.
Just the one game.
It's Colorado. So I think that's impressive. You remember when Rick Bowness came here, he said that he didn't want Connor Hellebuyck to be the first star of the game all the time anymore. And they've taken, and I know Rick's gone, he's retired, but Scott O'Neill clearly has taken that mantle over, and Connor Hellebuyck is exactly what they were trying to build here. That solid defensive team where you don't have to rely on Connor Hellebuyck to win you games every night.
Absolutely. And I think it's great because, let's be honest, Connor Hellebuyck has that ability to cover up a lot of warts in games. And they did rely on him so much in order to be able to have the regular season success that they had over recent years. So to be able to see this team get contributions top to bottom and play a sustainable style of play, I think is great. They haven't lucked into their
No.
14-1 record.
No, it's been amazing to watch. Lots of response. Neil Pionk a couple of times here. Nikolai Ehlers is off to a great start as well in a contract year. So and then that having that time on that first power play unit has helped a lot, and he's been a big reason for the Jets' success with the man advantage. Still number one in the NHL with 2 more power play goals on Saturday against Dallas, who I think had the 4th ranked penalty kill in the National Hockey League coming into that game, and the Jets made it look easy a couple of times over. But that there's just so many options. Ehlers again, so I think there's a lot of places to go.
There's no
here.
wrong choice.
No,
really.
No, you can't be hard.
You could. Sandberg, I see on there. Hard one to answer, Debbie. Everyone's contributing exactly. Ehlers or Sandberg. I think it's great, but I love to see Neil Pionk, who is such a likable person. We know the challenges that he had last season, both on the ice and then off. And so to be able to see him bounce back and that pairing with Sandberg, to be able to see them both step up into it has certainly been key.
And what about Cole Perfetti? Like a great answer here from CDN too. Just like Jets fans seeing a star in the future, a future star in the making, and he continues to develop. There's no doubt that Cole Perfetti will be a cornerstone of Winnipeg's success for years to come. And that's he signs that bridge contract and gambling on himself and also the Jets too. And everyone has to be excited about the start that Cole Perfetti's off to as well.
Absolutely. So the Jets had 2 days off, a really lengthy break when you think about what their schedule has been. And I saw someone, and I'm not sure if it was in the chat here, that talked about how they were going through a little bit of withdrawal, not having a Jets game for a couple of days. Don't worry, we're getting back into the flow. We're back into the flow every other day. But important for the team, obviously, to enjoy that couple of days off. They flew out yesterday to New York, start of the 3-game road trip. Rangers, Tampa on Thursday, and then Florida on Saturday before they come home. And it's a home and home series with Florida because Florida's is the team that's in on the 19th. But you look at this game today. Let's take a look at the Jets lines because there weren't any changes up front. I think it's been about since game 5 of the season. Scott Arniel has kept with the same lines, but we did see a change on the blue line. Now, he revealed afterwards Logan Stanley did not make the trip.
Yeah.
This time he's dealing with a mid-body issue that is going to be reevaluated back here. So that was all the details that came out today. So we see Hayden Fleury make it back into the lineup. He hasn't been in since game 4.
Right.
He played the first 4 games of the season.
And Logan Stanley, which is an unfortunate thing again for Logan Stanley because he's had that consistency, the opportunity to play consecutive game after game to get into a rhythm. And hopefully this isn't a big setback because of how well he had been playing. Yeah. And it just seems like whenever he gets some type of momentum, something happens. And hopefully this, again, like I said, isn't going to carry over too long.
The great news as well from the reports out of MSG is that Ville Heinola was on the ice in a regular jersey, which is great sign. I mean, still building back towards being able to get into the lineup. Obviously, we're still a little bit of a ways away from that, but a really positive sign because there's another player that just hasn't been able to catch that break when it comes to injuries. So a great sign for him to at least be taking that next step forward.
Speaking of great timing, Mike Kelly.
Oh,
ready to join us. So we're going to bring him onto the show. And here is Mike Kelly from NHL Network. Mike, how are you? And what's going on these days?
I'm doing well. Good to see you both. Just the same. It's the same thing as every day. Getting ready for games and then watching them and then talking about them.
Yeah, that's why we brought you on the show because you're one of the best at doing that. So let's kick things off. You've been right on top of how well the Adam Lowry line has been playing with Niederreiter, Mason Appleton. Just the 5v5 stats with these guys, this trio of players is just tremendous on its own. Just so we're going to show the graphic and that you just recently put up, and you take us through what we're going through here is these 2 third lines from the Rangers and Jets go head to head.
Yeah, look, they've been the 2 best third lines, if you want to call them that, in the league. They've been 2 of the best lines, period, in the league this season. So, there's lines that score a lot of goals, but you don't want to give up a bunch either. Winnipeg's first line kind of creates a lot, gives up, a bit too. But yeah, that's what makes us so impressive is that the Hita line with Cooley and Kakko in New York, they've been on for 9 goals at 5-on-5 and none against. And the only line that can even come close to that right now is the Lowry line, which is 10-4 and 1 against. So they're they're controlling play when they're on the ice from a, scoring chance perspective, from a goals perspective. They're great lines. They're different in how they're built, but equally as effective. So you get to the two best third lines going at it tonight, and we'll see if one of them can kind of help punch a win through for their team.
What I love too, Mike, is that when Jamie said that you've been on this Lowry line for a while, if people follow you on X, and if they don't, they absolutely should hit that follow button, that you have been following along for a while. You had retweeted something that you looked at a year ago with Lowry's line about how
you're at it again.
That's right.
Yes.
So I love the respect and that you've been following along with that line for such a long time. Let's turn our attention to someone off the top line with respect to the Four Nations. And we're going to see the rosters revealed beginning of December. And I think a lot of people expecting Josh Morrissey to be on Team Canada. Do you think that there is a shot at Mark Scheifele making that roster as well?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I think he should be on the team. I don't think there's any question Morrissey will be there, and I think Scheifele will be there. I would say better than 50%. I don't know what the management and the staff are thinking.
Yeah,
I just watched the way that he's played this year and know the kind of player that he is, and know the kind of value that he could bring. He would likely play on the wing on that team, but his ability around the net, he's got a really good defensive stick. He can help you in a lot of different ways. And he's somebody that really, he doesn't waste possessions. If he has a quality shot to take, he'll take it. If he doesn't, he'll make something happen. And when you're talking about a team full of skilled players who are many of the best on their respective teams, that's the kind of game you want to play, is break the other team down. And he's really good at that. So I would put him on the team. And he's had a great start, obviously, to this season.
So like we all, we've been talking about Connor Hellebuyck, and for good reason. For a star, he's been tremendous all year. But the kind of big question sitting around the Rangers, who the Jets are playing tonight, Igor Shesterkin, they're still trying to figure out what that extension is going to look like. What is his value to the Rangers, and do you see that value being given to him in financial over top of $10 million per season, Mike?
Look, I'd say right now he's the most valuable goalie to his team in the league. And there's a little secret about the Rangers that doesn't get talked about much, because they're second in the league in goals against, right? Winnipeg's first. Good defensive team. They are not a good defensive team. They give up a ton. So like if you watch this game tonight, if Igor and Connor are kind of equal, Winnipeg will probably win because they'll probably get more and better chances. They rank very poorly in a lot of key defensive areas. So his value is super high. And the argument that I dislike when people talk about goalies is, well, you can't pay a goalie 10, 11, 12 million dollars because they only play 55 games. The top guys are 60 games max. Fair enough. No more important position in the league than goalie. There's 32 teams. There's not 32 number one goalies in the league. And guess who plays every minute more or less in the playoffs when it matters most? The goalie.
Yeah.
So pay the goalies and pay Igor. Good Lord, pay Igor. We'll find out what happens if you don't.
Mike, great stuff as always, man. And just tell everybody where they can find you going forward.
Sure. Yeah. My home address is no, a bunch of angry Rangers fans coming to my house today.
And your phone number too, please.
Yeah, for sure. On X at Mike Kelly NHL.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Hey, thanks.
Always appreciate it. Thanks for carving out some time for us, Mike.
You got it. Anytime.
Mike Kelly. That's a good answer.
We haven't had that one yet.
Yeah, never.
No, I like that one.
But he's on everything all the time. So
He is.
Like when you said he's stretched thin, but I will say this about Mike: anytime you ask him, he'll do it. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. Much like when we had Allison on from the Kraken and we're talking about analytics and various things and making them digestible for people, even if you don't understand everything about goals, goals above expected, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he does a great job with it. So definitely a very worthwhile follow for across the league.
So, but I like how he put it in perspective when he said they're the second team in the NHL in goals against average or goals allowed, and just said they give up a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas Winnipeg does not. So you may sit there and think that's, like you said, it's going to be a great defensive team. They're not.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of, we've seen Winnipeg over the years, especially in New York, have a lot of success there, especially offensively. But Igor Shesterkin is going to have a big say in that when all is said and done after this evening.
Well, so you look at the goaltending battle that exists, and the top two teams when it comes to goaltenders right now, and the numbers, the Winnipeg Jets and the New York Rangers. Jonathan Quick doing a great job in limited spot duty that he's had when he's come in. Eric Comrie has been great when he's been in for Connor Hellebuck. So you look at the numbers going into this game, 14-1. The Jets right now, the record for the Rangers, 9-3-1. They're currently, or they would be in a wild card spot. They're fourth in the Metro, but they're only 3 points back of Carolina, who's sitting first. So you look at the numbers and exactly what it says, you think, oh, look at the way that this team is doing. Well, every article that you read out of New York right now is the fact that the way they played in the first 5 games and the way they've played since, very different, and that they need to get their game under control. Well, we hear about the Jets and their level of play being sustainable, their style of game playing. That is not what we're hearing out of New York.
Yeah, and that's explains to the value of Igor Shesterkin right now. And I remember when Carey Price signed his contract, I was like, that's so much money. And I felt Carey Price gave back everything that he could and got them to the Stanley Cup final during the COVID year. And that was it. That burned out his body at that point because he had the problem with his knees and so on and so forth. But man, like, Carey Price lived up, I felt, to the value of that contract.
We have seen on so many teams throughout the years that even if you have great offensive firepower and talent, if you do not have a solid netminder in there, you can only outscore your problems for so long and in so many games. You're not going to be able to continuously score 6 goals or more a night. So Braden Schneider from the Rangers saying that tonight is going to be their biggest test of the year. They have the league's best penalty kill going up against the league's best power play in the Winnipeg Jets. So we'll take a look at that as well. And one of the things that the Rangers have been having issues with are their breakouts. It's something that they've been concentrating on. We saw that was an issue for the Jets in that game against Colorado. They were able to rectify it against Dallas.
Yeah, I just can't. It was just so impressive. I got to sit in the stands and watch that game and actually sat right behind the bench because friends of ours had a friend who left the game for the Bombers game and left us the 2 seats. So I was like right behind the Jets bench.
Were you?
Yep.
I'm going to have to go back and look at the broadcast.
Yes,
then. Did you get on?
I was. I don't know if I did or not.
Oh.
Right on nice level with the big fight for Adam Lowry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Right there banging on the glass.
The best part is like Brad Shaw is one of the athletic therapists. He just turns around and looks at me. He's like, because I was working that night. So I don't know. I was trying to figure out the level of professionalism I was showing. So I was trying not to be cool. I was like this, a little bit of clapping, but not too over the top.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been embarrassing if you had gone completely over the top.
True. You know who's completely over the top?
Who?
Kevin Sawyer. And this is like whenever the schedule comes out, Kevin Sawyer.
This is your favorite game of the year.
Circles the calendar whenever the Jets are playing the Rangers. Because why? Because we have to hear about his first NHL goal. And where did he score that first NHL goal? Madison Square Garden. So the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Sawyer. Listen, we were expecting you to take us through it bit by bit on ice at MSG, but just didn't work out because the hotel's too far away. Hello, Kevin.
Everybody at the rink today got a detailed, thorough explanation, recap. We lived the moment, and it was just never seems to be getting old for anybody. I can't understand it.
Can you tell us what time of the game they're gonna show the goal again?
Yeah, I think that they're gonna have a moment of silence. What's funny
for you?
Every time I walk into Madison Square Garden, it's hilarious to me how everybody around pretends like they don't know me and they act like we don't know what he means to this building and all this stuff. I get a kick out of that anyway.
Yeah, it's like the golden goal and then the goal of the century, Kevin Sawyer's first goal against the Rangers. They're almost right beside each other for a Canadian kid.
Just ask me and my family will tell you all about
it. No, just ask JT. I mean, he says that you've had this game circled on your calendar. I think he has since the beginning of the season when we decided that we were going to be doing the show. And so every game, Kev, we try to get someone, we get a Winnipeg perspective, we get an opposing team perspective, and right away he goes, okay, well, when they're in New York, we have to get Sawyer. We have to get Sawyer in New York. He can talk about his first goal. So
it's like that. It's that old joke, or that joke that you have, that you can't share with everybody. But that's what Kevin and I have. It's what holds our relationship together.
Jamie is like, as you know, Sarah, like he's always smiling, he's always happy, so kind to everybody. But Madison Square Garden is the one place where like he actually looks at me with this look of disgust as he rolls his eyes because he's like, I am just
can't wait.
done. I'm so done with it all.
All right. We seriously, outside of my part of the fun part of this, we did bring you on for your expert analysis. Sarah, please.
All right. Well, Kev, let's start with talking about, since we've already dissected, or at least we've discussed your goal. I don't know if people need a reason to be able to turn into the game tonight, not just the 14-1 Jets record, but to be able to hear you recount it. So let's talk a little bit about what you've seen from Mark Scheifele. I think there's going to be a lot more talk about him leading up to Four Nations roster announcement, whether or not he makes the cut for it. You think of the start that he has had to this season and the contributions he's made. What is it that you have appreciated most about 55's game?
Consistency from game to game, and then consistency within the games. And he said it first to me the other day where Scott Arneal's helped him so much take a deep dive, more of a deep dive into the game without the puck. It's clear to me, and I think anybody that's close to the organization, that is where he's taken the biggest leap over the last 3 years. And I mean this with all due respect, but in some ways his game is unrecognizable because of the fact that he's added so much detail to the pride he takes without the puck. So, as we broadcast the game on TSN, I often find, and they're not the sexiest clips, but they're the little plays in the D zone where he's below the play. He's in the right place to either block a shot, turn a puck over, or be an outlet for a D-man or a little center pop from a winger. To answer your question in short, the pride that he takes when he doesn't have the puck, when his team doesn't have the puck, to get it back has found another level. And if he has any chance of making the Four Nations Team Canada roster, it'll be because of that. I mean, he's an elite, talented scorer, playmaker, but there's a lot of those guys that Canada can choose from. But more than Canada, I mean, the Winnipeg Jets need more of that from him. You don't become the best defensive team in back-to-back years without having your top centerman being good defensively, and he certainly has been.
Our question of the day today, Kevin, was which player has impressed you the most in the first 15 games? We're going to twist it a little bit for you. Who has been your unsung hero for the Winnipeg Jets through 15 games?
Yeah, unsung hero. I'm going to say Dylan Samberg.
Okay.
I think the ask of him to play in a top 4 role, which is new to him. And for me, number 5 slot last year and years prior, first pass, block a shot, not a whole lot of extra offense. And he didn't really have to go there. He just played within himself. So can he go to a top 4? It's a big ask because not only are you now playing with a different partner like a Neil Pion, you're up in the play, expected to add some more offense, but you got to make plays to make sure that you get the puck into the hands of Mark Scheifele and Kyle Connor and that, first and second line. So it's a complete change. It's a huge change for him in so many different ways that maybe some people don't think about. He has exceeded the expectations, and I'll go as far as to say that he looks like he's been playing that role for years. It doesn't look like it's rattled him at all. The first sign for a guy that gets asked to elevate his game is usually they slow down because they think. Not a whole lot of thinking, more reacting. So for my unsung hero would be Dylan Samberg. There's lots to choose from, but I'm really impressed with how he has taken on that responsibility and excelled.
When you think of the homestand that they just finished, we talked a lot about the 3 Central Division teams in particular coming in, the challenge, the battles that this Jets team would have. Now they're out on the road for their next 3. Then they come home just for one quick game against Florida. But you look tonight against the Rangers, then Tampa, then Florida. How do you look at this road trip for the Jets and what's ahead of them?
Yeah, Sarah, like you know it as well as I do, guys, that when you're the best team or among the best teams in the league, then everybody is ramping up to prep for you, to be ready for you. So there's only one thing that good teams like to do, and that is beat good teams. Well, the Jets are the best team in the league, and it's not a fluke. It's been 15 games. So, I mean, they've been through enough to earn that. And that the New York Rangers are one heck of a team as well. They won the President's Trophy last year. And they're off to a good start this year as well. They're the second best defensive team in the league, only behind the Winnipeg Jets. So I think that this is going to be another level of a test, not only because of the competition is real, We've got championship pedigree teams, Tampa Bay Lightning, no slouch themselves, of course, the Stanley Cup champions and the Florida Panthers and the Rangers. So you're playing next level talent and competition, but you're also going to make those teams are salivating to play the Winnipeg Jets because good teams want to beat good teams.
Buddy, thank you so much for your time. I love the artwork behind you.
That's it. That's all you want, hey?
Yeah. We lined up all the tough ones for you. Sarah fought me, and she's like, we can't put that goal conversation in the show. It's boring.
No.
I said no. I'm like, we
said no. Let's talk about it for 5 minutes.
Okay, top corner, bar down, place was up.
I can't wait to watch tonight.
Painted the picture for us. That's right.
Hey, just so you know, Mark Messier is actually in the building. He was there at pregame skate, and I didn't get a chance. I'm sure that there was a lot of people trying to get to me, but Mark didn't get a chance. So hopefully he gets the opportunity to. Hey, I love watching you guys' show, by the way. You guys do such a great job. So thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us. We'll be sure to have you, even though you guys are only in New York once.
Yeah.
There are many memorable stops, I know, on the Kevin Sawyer tour.
It's going to be a 20 goal scorer by the time that this goal gets played over and over the years.
Thanks so much, Kev.
See you, buddy.
Thanks, guys. See you, bud.
Kevin Sawyer. I just find great humor in it because
I know you do.
How many times have we seen that goal?
Many times.
Like I feel like TSN does a great service for Kevin to have that to relive that moment, and I can see why people are overlooking Mark Messier and wanting to talk to Kevin. It's a big time.
It was a big moment in the MSG.
Quick story. Kevin told me a story. He said 2 years ago his kids came to MSG and they were nice enough. The people at MSG were nice enough to let them ride on the Zamboni.
Yeah,
but that's pretty. No. I mean, they're just like the receptiveness from people in the NHL is.
Did they do that because they remembered Kevin?
I think it was.
Probably.
It was a big deal. So they keep bringing notes to everything.
All right. Quickly, you might have seen it this weekend that the second episode this season of Runway debuted. If you haven't had the opportunity, check it out. It is the longest, I believe it might be the longest episode we've ever done yet. It's almost 18 minutes long, but it is a great one. Here's a quick look at what you can expect.
What the heck is going on? I don't care who you are. Nobody saw this coming.
Winnipeg Jets are going to shut out the Edmonton Oilers. Rebound, they score!
Guys, I love you all.
It gave me the chills. It brought emotions up that I didn't know that we were that deep down.
Final undefeated team in the league. How do they keep on doing this?
Despite their incredible start, not much respect. What are we talking about here?
Good stuff. It's like great 16 minutes, 17 minutes.
Almost 18 minutes.
It feels like 16.
You know what? We've got a great crew that works on it. There'd be the shooting, the editing. So very, very proud of this one. It's something that Jets fans will love. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you head on over to the Winnipeg Jets YouTube page. Episodes 1 and 2 can be found there.
Is that it from us?
I think that might be it from Matt.
I think we covered a lot today. So.
Okay.
And Winnipeg Sports Talk is coming up right away here, so we got to clear.
All right, so we got to get out of the way.
Lots to talk about that one.
Quick on this day in Winnipeg Jets history, back in 2001, Dale Hawerchuk was put into the Hockey Hall of Fame with yesterday the inductees going in. Just thought give a little nod because anytime we can talk about Dale Hawerchuk, always.
There's a comment earlier about how Dale would be so proud of how well Mark Scheifele's playing right now too. So that's
Scott. I mean, go through the whole list. You know that he would be at some of these games cheering on, and how thrilled he would be for his very good buddy Scott Arniel to get off to the start that he has had as well as head coach here. All right.
Appreciate it. It's gonna be a great game tonight.
I'm looking forward to this one. You will be able to catch the takeaways after the game.
Yeah.
That Jamie Thomas has, and then as always, we will be back here Thursday as we get ready for the game against Tampa.
Oh man, those games are always good too. So
it should be a great week of hockey in store for all of us. Back to every other day, huh?
So we're right back together and spending so much time together.
It's so much fun. Thankfully, we have all of you to help pass the time.
Thanks so much for watching.
Thanks so much for checking in, everyone. We'll see you on Thursday.